Honorable lecturers, distinguished participants, thank you for staying during the training on hydroponics for African countries. Today marks the third day, which also becoming the last day of the training. I hope you will stay with us for the next few hours. We will now hear a presentation from Mrs. Fia Duniputri as the lecturer from the ICAT of Limbang. Let me start by reading her profile first. Mrs. Fia Duniputri has more than 10 years of experience in training and teaching human resources in agriculture. She is an agronomist and horticultural specialist. She has extensive professional experience in horticulture, global trends, research in organic nutrients, and secondary metabolites of plants. She has experience training in hydroponic technology for Asia and the Pacific countries. Currently, she works at the ICAT Lembang as lecturer and is currently taking a PhD in agronomy in horticulture at the Bogor Agricultural Institute. She will share in this training her knowledge on nutrition of hydroponic. You could begin your presentation now, Mrs. Fia.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Niken. Good afternoon in Indonesia and good morning to our friends in Africa. Before I start my presentations, please allow me to play one video first. Ms. Niken, is it okay?
Sure, Mrs. Fia, please.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Dari, you can play the video.
ICAT Limbang has several hydroponic systems that are used in plant production activities, training, and education purposes. There are several simple hydroponic systems at ICAT Limbang, including verticulture, NFT, aeroponic, aquaponics and substrate hydroponics.
thank you very much. That's our videos about hydroponics in ICAT Limbang, and it's related with our discussions yesterday. One of the participants was asking about whether the hydroponics can put or place in the open field. Yes, we do that in here. For some of the installations, we put on the open area, while the other is placed at the greenhouse. Okay, now I'm going to continue with presentations about nutrition of hydroponics or hydroponics nutrients. Okay. Okay, we'll share screen. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 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 Thank you, Miss Dari. Okay, now it's about the hydroponics nutrient or nutrition of hydroponics. Well, as we know, hydroponics solves several constraints in cultivations, such as the limited space or poor soil conditions. And hydroponics also has several advantages, such as maximize the space. So we can conserve the water and facilitate the microclimates, and sometimes also require less labor and predictability and seasonability. It means that, that conventional farmers sometimes has a problem with the seasonal change climate, but in hydroponics, we can cope with that. And we can control the yield also, so we can have more quantity and the quality. Okay, so the objective is the participants will able to understand the importance of hydroponics nutrients and also able to prepare the hydroponics nutrients. Okay, so nutrient solution in hydroponics is just like a fertilizer to soil. So essentially, a hydroponics nutrient solution is a liquid or water filled with all of the necessary nutrients so that the plant root can come into contact for its growth. So in a hydroponics nutrient solution is basically a water or liquid that contains all of the essential nutrients that can influence the plant root and stimulate the growth. So inadequate or excessive amounts of any nutrients can result in poor crops performance. Excessive amounts also can cause a problem since they can damage the crops and also can waste money and fertilizer resource, and also can pollute the environment when the fertilizer is released during the flushing of the nutrients delivery system. When we talk about the hydroponics nutrients, it's always related with water. So it cannot be separated from water, especially for the bare root. Just like yesterday, Mr. Abdul Rahim has already explained about some of the installations using mainly using water as a media, such as NFT, DFT, wick system, and so on. All of them are related with water. So in this case, the water source qualities become crucial in the hydroponic system. Okay, there are several water sources that we can use as a source for hydroponics nutrient solutions. The first one is the rainwater. So rainwater in a general is a very excellent water, and it has a good quality for the hydroponics cultivations. But you have to be very concerned if your place are close to the sea, that might be there is more sodium in the water. And the next is the surface water. The surface water means water from a rivers, lakes, or canal that might have a variable chemical quality. And it can differ from the excellent to a very poor water quality depending on the source. But it's also possible that the quality differs over the years. So it might be changing the quality of the water. So if we want to use this type of water, we need more treatments such as using the reserve osmosis pump, something like that. Okay, the next one is the tap water. In Indonesia, we also have the municipal tap water that sometimes often contain with a chloride and also salt. So sometimes if we use this kind of water, we need also to consider the cost because sometimes it's expensive and the quantity per hour sometimes lower. And the next one is the underground water or the groundwater. The quality of the groundwater is very much depends on the local situations. It might be of the excellent, might be it has an excellent chemical quality, but sometimes it also contains such a large amount of salt and maybe too alkali that we need to desalinate it. For example, yes, using the reserve osmosis before we use it for source water for hydroponics nutrients. Okay, for the water source in the hydroponic solutions, we need to consider these two things. It's very crucial. The first one is the electrical conductivity. The second one is the pH or potential hydrogen. So electrical conductivity is referred to the measure of the concentration of ions it's contained. In the hydroponics growing, of course, the ion concentrations is the same as the concentrate of salt that dissolves in the water. And that gives the grower indications of how many nutrients the water contains. And the second one is the pH or potential hydrogen. Actually, the measure of the concentration of free hydrogen and hydroxyl ion in the water or any other solution, of course. And the water that contains more hydrogen ion is more acidic, and the water with alkaline contains more hydroxyl ion. So the pH is a very important for the grower to consider because it has a significant influence on the nutrient uptake in the plants. So actually for the hydroponics itself, for the raw water that we use for nutrient solutions, it's much better for the electrical conductivity is near to zero. So this means there's not much ion in your raw water. It's going to help you to maintain the quality and the amounts of the nutrients that you will add it into the solutions. And for the pH, it's much better if we have the raw water with the pH of near 7 or near the neutral, because it's very affects to the nutrient absorb of the plants. Okay, so now we move to the plant nutrients. So we know that there is a terminology of the essential elements. So to be classified as essential, the elements need to meet these following criteria. The first one, the plant cannot complete its life cycle without it. The second one, the element's functions cannot be replaced by another element. And the third one, the element is directly involved in the plant's growth and reproductions. Okay, so in essential elements for the plant nutrients, we usually divide it into two groups. The first one is the macronutrients, means generally the nutrients are present in the plant's tissue in the large amount. So it means the plants require a large amount of this type of nutrients, such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, and also calcium. While for the micronutrients, it's also called as a trace element. They're needed by the plant in very small amounts. For the example of just like an iron, manganese, boron, zinc, chlorine, molybdenum, and copper. Well, based on the functions of these essential elements, they're classified under 4 categories. The first one is the biomolecules, such as carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen, and then involved in resulting in energy, just like a magnesium in the chlorophyll and the phosphorus in ATP. And it's also involved in the enzyme metabolism, such as manganese and zinc. And the other one is also important, the osmotic potential, such as potassium, because it plays an important role in opening and closing the stomata. And of course, controlling the osmotic potential on the plants. And it's very important when the plants were suffering in a drought. So potential osmotic is playing a very important role for the plant to survive. Okay, here is the functions of the several elements in the plants. For example, we have a nitrogen, which is responsible for vegetative growth and the building block of the protein in the plants. And also we have phosphorus, is a very critical in the root developments and crop maturity and seed productions. And also potassium. Yeah, it's very important in the potential osmotic and also activates the enzymes. And yeah, it's very crucial for the plants to withstand with extreme temperature and drought. And the other elements such as boron is also important in sugar transport, cell divisions, amino acid productions. And the iron is also the component enzyme, and is very essential for chlorophyll synthesis and photosynthesis. And the last we have a zinc, the component of many enzymes, and is very essential for the plants, and it's very crucial for hormone balance and auxin activity. Okay, so this is the deficiency symptom from the several nutrients element on the plants. So we can see it in the slide. We can divide it into the old leaves and the new leaves. Actually, it's quite related with the character of the plant nutrients, whether it's mobile or immobile. Mobile means that in the term of deficiency, the plant can transport the nutrients from the old leaves into the young leaves. So if that was the case, we can see, for example, for the nitrogen deficiency, in the case there is a deficiency of nitrogen, we can see the old leaves will start to yellowing. So it means that the nitrogen was transported from the old leaves to the young leaves. For example, again, for the phosphorus, it also appears in the old leaves. They're going to increase the anthocyanins on the leaves. That's also happened for potassium that was mobile in the plants. And the example for the immobile elements in the plants, one of the important elements, for example, is iron. Is in the case there is a deficiency on the plant, the yellowish color, the chlorosis, will appear in the young leaves rather than in the old leaves. It means that this nutrients is immobile, so the plants cannot transport from the old leaf to the young leaf to fill the iron needs. Okay, so this one is the deficiency symptom of the essential elements. The first one is the chlorosis. Chlorosis, it means loss of the chlorophyll leading to the yellowing leaves. Okay, this is one of the example of the chlorosis. And the next is necrosis. Necrosis is the death of a leaf tissue. Okay, it's usually due to deficiency of calcium, magnesium, copper, and potassium. So the chlorosis, it means the yellowish color, while the necrosis is the death of the leaf tissue. Okay, this is one of the example in the maize plant. Okay, the other effect of deficiency is stunted growth and a premature fall of leaves and buds, inhibitations in cell divisions, and also delaying flowering. Okay, previously, according to the history, hydroponics in Indonesia at the first time was used in the university in the nutrient experiments. So as you can see on the slide, if we use a hydroponics, this one is a sunflower, and we reduce or we eliminate the nitrogen source, that you can see there is a yellowish color, there is a chlorosis and even a necrosis in the old leaves. It means it's a lack of nitrogen. And when we eliminate the iron in the hydroponics nutrient solutions, they're going to be a yellowish color on the young leaves. Okay, in Indonesia, it is easy to find the hydroponics nutrients. In the hydroponics nutrients in Indonesia, we are commonly what's called as an AB mix because it usually consists of at least 2 parts of nutrients for 2 stock solution. It is stock A and stock B. And there are there's many brand of hydroponics nutrients with their own superiority in their nutrients formula. So this is one of the example of, there are so many brands about the hydroponics nutrients that the grower can purchase for the hydroponics installations. Okay, so why we need 2 stocks, stock A and stock B? Okay, in the terms of stock solution, it means a high concentration of nutrients. The calcium cannot meet the sulfate and phosphate because it can cause precipitation or sediment in the bottom of your tank. So that's why we cannot put it together in the stock solutions. So usually, any kinds of compounds that contain calcium was put in the stock A or stock B, and it has to be separated with any kinds of compound that contains sulfate and phosphate. Okay, in utilize the nutrient solution in hydroponics, there are 3 things that we need to consider. The first one is to find out the nutrient tolerance range. Well, the second one is to determine what plant needs, just like what the plant types and the variety, which the part that will be utilized, the plant age, the antagonistic properties among the nutrients. And the third one, we need to calculating the nutrients composition. Okay, this is the antagonism of nutrients properties. As you say that nutrients sometimes have an antagonistic characteristic to another elements. Just like a nitrogen, it's antagonistic with potassium. So you need to be very careful with this. So for example, if you want to put maybe 190 ppms and you need about 200 ppm of potassium and you are miscalculating and you put maybe about 2000 ppm of potassium, and even you put the right nitrogen, it won't work and it's going to be harm and damage your plant. So we need to be very careful with this character of nutrients. So this is an example, just like potassium is antagonism with the nitrogen, calcium, and magnesium. And phosphorus is antagonistic with zinc, iron with manganese, and extra. Okay, this was the example of nutrient tolerant range for nitrogens. It's about 150 to 300 ppm. The phosphorus is about 31 to 80 ppm, and so on. And we can see on the right side is the plant needs. This is an example for the leafy vegetables such as lettuce and mustard green. They need nitrogen. It's about 250 ppm, while tomato is also. But as you can see, the potassiums for the lettuce, they only need about 300, while the tomatoes need 350, and so on. So we need to consider this nutrient tolerant range and also what the plant needs. You can always access a journal, research journal, or article to find out these type of tables that you can use as a guidance in creating or making a formula of your hydroponics nutrients. So after this, we're going to show you several steps in counting or making the hydroponic formula. Okay, this is one of the example. We use the calcium ammonium nitrate, and we want to find out how many ppm for every type of elements and every elements of this nutrient. So because we use the compound, when we want to making the hydroponic formula, of course we cannot find one by one element. It's usually available in a compound, just like this for calcium ammonium nitrate. We can counting how many percent of calcium and also the ammonium and also the nitrate. We can counting it from the atomic weight and the compound's molecular weight. So from this, we can counting that this one is the amounts of the nitrates and the ammoniums. Okay, and we can put on the table to meet the requirements of the nutrients. For example, this is for lettuce. So we need about 250 ppm for nitrogen. So based on the calculations from the calcium ammonium nitrate, we already have 142 and also 13. I'm sorry, that should be ppm. Okay, then we're counting again for the magnesium sulfate. It's just the same. We can calculate how many percent the magnesium in these compounds and also how many percent the sulfur in this compound, and we can counting it. Okay. So the amount of S should be from this compound is about 83 grams per liters. Okay. Okay. This was the S. And we can counting again from the other elements, just like, okay. This is the potassium sulfate. We can counting the sulfur. And we can find out the amounts of potassium. And the next is this one, is the potassium nitrate. We can see, okay, we have this one. So we can counting more for the potassiums, and also for the nitrogen source. And we can put it on the table so we can counting how many elements that we already have, whether it already meets the tolerant range and also the needs of the plants or not. And this is what we do. Mainly the students doing this in the university in counting and formulating the hydroponics nutrients based on the plant needs. Okay, this is only an example. So you can make your own formula. Of course, you need to consider the atomic weight and the molecular weight of the compound. Okay, this is for the ammonium. Also the amounts of phosphorus. Okay, this is all we have. Okay, potassium phosphate. We can counting all of this. As you can see, from the macronutrients for calcium, we already meet the plant needs, and also the manganese, and also for the sulfur, nitrogen, and also the potassium. And for the micronutrients, we can find the compounds that already complete, has all of the micronutrients. Usually this one, the complete micronutrients pack that's already able on the market that we can buy and mix it with our hydroponics formula. Okay, so the amount of micronutrients, for example, is 40 grams per 1,000 liters. Okay. And this is one of the example, the hydroponics nutrient formula. So we can separate it into stock A and stock B. As you can see that the compounds contain calcium was put in the stock A, while the other compounds that contain sulfate or phosphate are mainly in the stock B. While for the calcium nitrate, you can put it in the A or B stock. Okay, for the dosage, we can dissolve into 5 liters of solutions per stock. For example, actually we can dilute it into a certain volume of water, but you need to remember, because you want to dilute it more in the making of nutrient solutions. For example, it should be 200 times, and you will dilute the stock A and stock B into 1,000 liters. This is just for an example. So if we need 600 liters of solutions, the stock needed is maybe about 600 liters per 200. It means 3 liters of stock A and 3 liters of stock B. Okay, this is one of the examples of composition formula in the commercial hydroponics nutrients. So for the commercial hydroponics nutrients, sometimes the formulator, they're already making their superior formula. For example, for the leafy vegetable, they're going to be different to fruit or ornamental plants, and also the tuber. So as you can see in here, this is only an example. So for the nitrogen, for the leafy vegetables, you need about 20.7%, while for the fruit, it's not more than 20, it's less than 20, it's about 17.9. And for ornamental plants and tuber, it's about 18. So there is a difference formulations among these hydroponics nutrients. It's once again, it's based on which part of the plant that you're going to be utilized. Is it the leaves, the fruit, or the tuber? And of course, they're making these compositions based on their research. So mainly it's up to you which one you want to choose. There's so many brands in the market. Okay, this is, oh, sorry. Okay, this is for the pH, very careful. We're going to elaborate this, we're going to discuss this more the next sessions in the maintenance. But in here, we need to consider the acidity, just I mentioned before. And in the case, there is a two alkali, so you need to reduce the pH to meet the normal. So you can add it, some kinds of acid to maintain the pH. And whether it's too low, you can add the strong or potent base. Because it's a very important, sometimes you have all of the elements in the nutrient solution, but the pH is too acid and it's not available to the plants to absorb. Okay, another issue is what happens if we don't have the commercial hydroponics nutrients. Can we make it from another source of fertilizer? Well, yes. Actually, some of the growers here do this. Sometimes their favorite hydroponics nutrient is not available and they only have NPK, for example. Yes, you can make your own hydroponics nutrients using the NPK, but you need to remember, you need to calculate the amounts of the elements in this kind of compound. And yeah, we need to trial and learn to get this formula if we want to use the NPK and also the gandasil or green gromer. It's actually the source of micronutrients also. So this is one of the examples that we can do when we want to get an alternatives for the hydroponics nutrients rather than if we want to buy the commercial hydroponics nutrients. But of course, the result might be different. NPK, there is another substance on the compound that you might see precipitations inside your tanks because you're using the NPK. Of course, you need to consider that when you use a small hose because it can cause a clogging also. And in the bottom, at the first one, it is for the leafy vegetable, and the second one is for fruit. There is slightly difference of the compositions. And of course, it's based on the farmer experience. It's not always strict like this one. You can always make your own experiment. You can trial and learn to find an alternative in how to making a hydroponics nutrients. So of course, from the yesterday questions, right, Ms. Sunny? What about the organic hydroponics? Yes, actually, it's become an issue. Yeah, it's become a hot debate for ages. I mean, since maybe 10, 15 years ago, when we are still in the university, it's already debatable about the organic hydroponics. Is it hydroponics are able classify as organic if we use the organics nutrition or not? Yeah, it's always debatable. But I'm not kinds of fanatic in hydroponics or organic. So for me, it's always become an alternatives. It's up to you. You want to choose the hydroponics nutrients from the synthetic one or from the organic one. Okay, but we need to see also, we can learn from the other growers' experiments and also from the research. So this one is one of the research results. At the bottom is Tanjung et al. In 2018. She made research about the commercial organic hydroponic solutions and compared to the organic compounds. There is a commercial liquid organic fertilizer, the vermicompost, and also combination between the vermicompost and also the ZA. So in her research, you can see that the EC or electrical conductivity is much better in the commercial inorganic. I mean, this is commercial hydroponics nutrients compared to another treatment. And another research, this is William et al. In 2013, it's really good organics nutrition, but it's still much better the real commercial inorganic nutrient solutions. Okay, why this has happened? Yeah, it's because using organic. I mean, when we are using organic, we cannot sure what inside the elements of our liquid fertilizer. And this is something that we need to consider. Most of the countries do not allow hydroponics to be labeled organic. Most of countries, because hydroponic is mostly related with the anorganic or synthetic fertilizer. And the nutrient content in organic fertilizer is uncertain. We cannot make sure the elements is diverse based on the what kind of the liquid organic fertilizer. Sometimes it's different compounds. Sometimes you use how many parts of leaves or fruit that you made as a liquid organic fertilizer for hydroponics. So it was uncertain. The type of the elements we cannot make sure. We cannot sure. We need to check on the lab, but we cannot do that every time we want to use the organic compounds. So yeah, this is always become an issue. But from many research, we can say that for the hydroponics, the inorganic nutrient fertilizer is always the best. And sometimes the result, the leafy vegetable, for example, is more nutritional balance when you use the conventional hydroponics rather than the organic one, or the combinations between the organic and unorganic. Okay, but as I mentioned, it's always become an alternative. If you want to make your liquid organic fertilizer, you might have your own recipe to make the liquid organic fertilizer. And this is only one of the example. And if you want to use this as the source of the nutrient solutions for hydroponics, yes, you all can always make this as an alternative. You can trial and learn and choose the best recipe for you to use in your hydroponics. So this is one of the example. So another one is the ecoenzyme. It's become a trend nowadays. This is the ecoenzyme. It can be diluted about 10,000 times before use as fertilizer. Some of the grower mix this ecoenzyme to the AB mix nutrient solutions. And yes, they still check the ppm is about 1,200 ppm. This is an example. Okay, to manage the quality of hydroponics nutrient, the first thing that you need to consider is the water quality. Once again, the raw water, the salinity, the concentration, of course, of the harmful element dissolved in the water, such as sodium, chloride, and boron. That maybe sometimes it's too much salt that might harm your plants. You need to consider this. And the second one is the nutrients needed in their concentration in hydroponics nutrient solutions. And of course, the nutritional balance. Be careful with the antagonistic characteristic of the elements and the pH of the hydroponics nutrient solutions, because it's very crucial and it's going to be affect the nutrient uptake by the plants. And this is how we maintain the nutrient solutions. Make sure periodically checks the pH and the electrical conductivity in the nutrient solutions. And also the volume of the nutrient solution is adjusted to the number of the plant. You don't want your plant was experiencing in a drought because you forget to adjust the volume for your nutrient solutions. especially in what Pak Rahim in NFT, right? Yeah, it's very crucial. Okay, so the water discharge may be between 1 and 2 liters per minute, and the slope of the gutter is between 3 to 5% in NFT. Just like yesterday, Mr. Abdul Rahim has already explained about the NFT. And to use in the non-circulating system, the nutrient solution is splashed into the substrate, and you need to stop it before the water drifts out from the bottom of the pot. Okay, this is when you use a pot, but if you use the drip irrigations, it means you can adjust the drip using the timer, and it's more efficient. Okay, yesterday we also talked about the hydroponics and aquaponics. Now it's become a trend also, and if I'm not mistaken, there is a question about can we use entirely fish solutions and without adding the hydroponic nutrients in aquaponics. So this is become a very interesting topics, hydroponics and aquaponics. So sometimes we think that we have a container or barrel, we put a fish inside, and when we use the water for the plants, we use the water from the fish, we put it, or we flowing to the plants, and the plants were going to grow well, and we can harvest the fish and also the vegetables. But the fact it's not that so easy. It's not that so simple. So there is several research about this. For example, and came in 2020. They use the water from the fish pond, the tilapia fish used in aquaponics. This is compared to the conventional hydroponics, and the result is the basil and the lettuce yield is reduced more than 50%, 56 and 67% from the conventional hydroponics, if they only use the water from the fish pond. Well, another research, they use nutrients from the aquaculture sludge, while it's slightly different with the conventional nutrients. But we need to remember that the sludge of aquaculture is different from the water from the fish. This is the sediment or the precipitations in the system of aquaculture that these researchers use to grow the plants. Okay, this is a very popular type of combinations, aquaponics. As you see, there is a kangkong spinach here, water spinach, and the catfish in the bucket is a very popular. But the thing is, some of the grower, they got complaint. The smell is really bad. The plant is not growing well, and the fish is dying and dead. And sometimes we put 10 catfish and we only harvest 3 or 4 catfish. Yeah, because there is a tips on this type of system. As you can see, it's not as easy as it seems. We use this type of aquaponics. We also can see the simple aquaponics is tilapia and celery, as you see on the slide. Yes, that was once in our office. The one is without filter. Okay, actually in our ICAT, we have these 2 types of aquaponics. The first one is without a filter. So we directly pump the water from the fish into the installations, the hydroponics one above the barrel. Well, the other one, the right one, is we use a filter, using a filter. As you can see, there is I don't know, it's a container filled with the fish, and we have 2 barrels for filtering and also for the bacteria house. Okay, there is a keyword in here, bacteria. So the left one without the filter, it's not enough to grow the plants above the barrel. It's not enough. So we use the substrate, we put a substrate in there, and we add it with the inorganic fertilizer. We put it in organic fertilizer. Sometimes we use the hydroponics nutrient solutions, and sometimes we put an NPK in there. And the plants can grow. Well, the fish, it's okay, but not really good. Yeah, it's not grow bigger. No, it's not. But of course, there is several things that we need to consider, including the temperature, because for information, ICAT Limbang is in the highland, so the water temperature is sometimes is really low, and it's not good for the fish to grow. Okay, that was the first picture without a filter. So yes, I remember yesterday there is a participant asking about this, whether they can grow without the inorganic fertilizer. For the one without filter, yes, we need to add the inorganic nutrient. But for the right side, well, we're trying not to adjust with the hydroponics nutrients. Why? Because we put a treatment in the aquaponic system. So in here we have a container to filtering the water from the fish. And after that, they're flowing to the second barrel. It was a bacterial house. This bacterial house will decompose, decomposition the water from the fish, and it's going to increase the level of the concentration, the ppm. The electrical conductivity is going to increase. So for example, the water from the fish, it might be only contain about 700 to 800 ppm. But after they enter the bacteria house, the ppm is going to increase. So this is one of the key things to utilizations, for aquaponics is the bacteria, the role of bacteria. Okay, so this is the pictures of the installations. We have the fish tank, we have the filter, and the plant growing area. So in here, the roles of bacteria is very important. So we need to consider this bacteria in our aquaponics system. Just you remember the previous slides, you see there is a bucket with catfish and the spinach water or kangkung. One of the grower has not succeeded, but the other grower has succeeded because the grower adding is a kind of bioactivator to the bucket. So it will going to be increase the number of bacteria that are able to decompose the fish faces, and they're going to increase the ppm of the nutrient solutions, and the plant can use it. Okay, so this one is the biofilter that we use in our aquaponic systems. There is a two-type, bioball and coldness. It's always based on, I think the price is just the same. So the bioball and the coldness was used as the house of the bacteria to grow and to decompose the fish water. And don't worry, not only bioball and coldness, there is several types of biofilters also in the market. Okay, so this is also one of the example, the installations of aquaponics. Okay, thank you very much. I think that's all my presentations, Ms. Nikan.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Via, for an excellent presentation and also the video that you play in the beginning of the presentation. And based on your presentation, first we can conclude that for hydroponic nutrition, water source is vital. And so participants, we are now opening the discussion, and the discussion remains open until 3 p.m. We have 4 minutes left. So as you may know, Mr. Abdul Rahim, we know from yesterday's session, and Mrs. Via, you can already see here at the studio, and in accordance with their expertise, they will help answering queries. 3 questions is now open. So maybe Mrs. Via, let us begin with the first question from Mr. Albert of Burundi. He's asking, through which mechanism we say antagonist nutrients? Is it because it has a detrimental impact on plants? And how do you correct this when it happens?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Albert, for your questions. Yes, the antagonistic nutrients. Yes, because sometimes the plant was recognize the ion as the same. So if they access one element, they're going to absorb that, and they will not absorb the other elements. So it means that the plant is going to lack of the nutrients. In the case this happen in a hydroponic system, for example, well, the quick things to correction, for this one, if of course we need to change the nutrient solutions and we adjust with the right calculations. And of course, actually, for example, once in the university, we have kinds of practical sessions in the antagonism of nutrient solutions. Wait, which one? Okay, and in here, for example, in the drought conditions, in the near of the coast, so the plant was suffering in a drought. And what in there is there's more sodium rather than potassium. So in this case, the plant is going to absorb more sodium, and the plant is going to lack of potassium, and it's going to be appear in the plants of deficiency. Even sometimes we added more potassium, but since in the soil there is more sodium in that, so it's become difficult for the plants to absorb the potassium because, I don't know, maybe, how can I say, the molecule is almost the same, so it's preferred for the plants of absorbing the sodium. This is the antagonistic mechanism. So they will not able to absorb the potassiums, and it's become a deficiency. So we need to really consider about this. And if it's happened in the nutrient solutions, well, you can, okay, the first one, the quick one is we need to change all of the nutrient solutions. But if you feel, okay, I don't add it too much, maybe an excess, but not too much. Yeah, you need to add another element into the nutrients, but it's become very difficult to do that. So I think it's much better if in the system of hydroponics to correct it, we need to change all of the solutions to prevent the damage for your plants. I think that was my response. Maybe Pak Abdul Rahim or Ehsani? Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Via. I believe that it answers the question from Mr. Albert. We can move on to the next question. This one came from Mr. Amos from Kenya. He is asking, how can you address the problem of pests and diseases in aquaponics?
Okay, thank you very much. It's a very interesting question. Yeah, it's become an issue. Actually, even in our system here, there is an issue with the disease affecting the aquatic organism. This is our experience in here in ICAP. In aquaponic, there is one crucial thing that we need to compromise. That was the pH. So the pH, we need to, when we're dealing with the pH in the conventional hydroponics, we only need to consider the pH for the plants. But in aquaponics, you need to compromise the pH for the plant, for the fish, and also for the bacteria. And this has become tricky things to do. Yes, in our aquaponic system, yes, we have once there is a disease in the fish. When we check the pH is little bit higher, little bit higher. So it's more alkali. So the case in ICAT, in here in Lembang, the raw water is in the pH is 7, right? It's neutral. It's neutral. But the thing is, the fish doesn't like this type of pH because when the pH is higher, there are going to be a disease infected the fish, and it's become like, I don't know what it's called. I was not expert in the fishery, so it's kind of fungi in the body of the fish. This is because the pH is a little bit, more than, I think it's about neutral and up. So this is what happened. But and with this kind of pH, the bacteria is also cannot grow. But this pH is really good for the plant. So how we correct that? Of course, we put kind of medicine to the fish, and we put acid solutions to the fish tank, so we can maintain it a little bit lower. So we adjust the pH of the fish a little bit lower, and also inside the bacteria house. You know that the bacteria house, they also need a certain pH also, and it's usually a little bit acid, just like the fish one. So we added the acid solutions in the fish tank and also in the bacteria house and the bacteria barrel. And after that, the fish is better, the fish is happy, the diseases is gradually gone, it's already cured. But the thing is, the nutrient solutions, it might little bit also acid. And it's not good for the plant. So we have two types of filter, and we put the acid solutions in the fish tank or in the bacteria barrel. We cannot put it in the other filter barrel where the nutrient solutions was directly flowing into the installations of the plants. By doing this, yes, the fish problem is solved. So we need really tricky in considering the pH. And we also trial and learn. We cannot put the strong acid solution also, because too much acid is also harm the fish and also the bacteria as well. So if we use the strong base acid, we put it drip by drip in the bacteria to maintain the bacteria growth. For the fish tank, we use not the strong one, but the less strong acid we put in there. So this is how we solve the problem of the disease of the fish tank. And we have to manage it not too very low, the pH, to make sure that the plant is also have in the range pH for them to grow. I think that was my response, Ms. Niken.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Via. Very meticulous strategy in preventing pests and disease in aquaponics. Perhaps you can move on to the final question. This one came from Mr. Lukman from Nigeria. He is asking, in the LMS video on nutrients, there is an element that has been cut in the preparation of nutrient B. Something similar has been cut into nutrient A called theta. What is the name of it similar in nutrient B? I think I will type it just in case.
Iron. Okay, that was the iron, right? Yeah, because FEDETA, if I'm not mistaken, yes, it can be put in the both of the nutrient solutions. Yeah, because it doesn't contain the calcium or the sulfate. That was the key, calcium and sulfate. But for the neutral, will not contain the calcium and also the sulfate. You can put it both. Right, if I'm not mistaken, yes, iron, right? Yeah, FEDETA, yes. Confirm, Miss Anita. Maybe we can play the. Oh no, the time is up. Okay. Okay, that one with Miss Nikan.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Fair. Well, I believe perhaps with the video, it will explain more detail. But maybe it is available on the LMS, right, Mrs. Fair?
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Lukman, you can view the more detailed explanation through a video. So participants, I'm sorry that we are already running out of time, but of course, we can address your questions maybe later on the next session, or of course, maybe on the asynchronous platform with Mrs. Via. So, well, maybe Mrs. Via, do you have final comment before we finish this session of nutrition of hydroponic, please?
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Nikan. I really appreciate and very happy with our great discussions. And I hope these sessions can give you another side of hydroponics as an alternative in soilless growing plants, whether we use the nutrients from the organic or even inorganic. It's always become an alternative, and you can choose based what you need based on the conditions in your place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Via, and of course, thank you very much for all the participants for staying on this session. And of course, Mrs. Via, I wish you much success for your future endeavors on hydroponic and also on agriculture. And we would be grateful if you can submit your contact details on the chat section for further discussion with the participants.
Okay, thank you.
So honorable participants, honorable lecturers, we will put this training in a recess, and after the break, there will also be a training session. We will listen to a lecture on seedling, planting, and maintenance by Mrs. Sani Hanifa. And of course, do not forget to provide your feedbacks on Mrs. Fiadini's lecture and discussion session by referring to the evaluation of speaker on the LMS. We will see you in a few minutes. Honorable lecturers, distinguished participants, thank you for staying in the course. Right now marks the final subtopic of the training, and we will hear Mrs. Sani Hanifa's presentation. Let me start reading her profile first. Mrs. Sani has over 15 years of experience in training and teaching agricultural human resources. She is an agronomist and she has extensive professional experience in horticulture. She is now working as lecturer at the Indonesian Center for Agricultural Training of Lembang, the Ministry of Agriculture of the Republic of Indonesia. Mrs. Hani holds master's degree in agronomy from the Universitas 11 Maret, and she will share in this training her knowledge on seedling, planting, and maintenance. Mrs. Sani, you could begin your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ken. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. An honor to meet you all in this beautiful day. This is the last but not least presentation on this online training after yesterday hydroponic system with Mr. Abdul Rahim and then the hydroponic nutrients with Ms. Fia. Now we will discuss or sharing about a seedling, planting and maintenance and on hydroponics plants. Okay. Okay. The objectives after this session, I hope the participants expected to understand the importance of seedling, planting, and maintenance and in hydroponics plants. As we know, hydroponic growing process is start from seeds, and then it sprouts, become a seedling, and then transplant into a hydroponic installation, and then grow, and the last is harvest. This is the picture of a seed that will become a seedling. Oh, what is a seedling? Seedling is an initial activity in the field that aims to prepare seeds ready for plant. Oh, why we need seedling? The first is the seedling method can optimize the plant growth. And also, the seedling makes it easy to care for when growing early planting. And also, the third is seedling makes plant which adapts to the new environment after transplanting from nursery to the hydroponic installation. And also, is to plant sorting process to choose between the healthy seedling and not healthy seedling. Okay, before we start to seedling, we have to prepare land for nursery site. We have to choose location for nursery house because we must determine a safe place for seedling so that the seeds grow properly. A nursery house is an area in which a new sapling or new seedling arise and nourished until they are ready for transplanting into a hydroponic installation. Before we use the nursery house, we have to sterilize first. The first, we prepare 5 milliliter of carbolic acid per liter of water. So for 10 liter, it will need about 50 milliliter of water. Stir it evenly and pour the carbolic solution into the sprayer. And we have to spray it all over the nursery house and wait for a day before we make a seed, make a seedling. And until we wait for a day, we prepare the growing media. There are several growing media that we can use on a hydroponics, like husk charcoal, raw wool, coco peat, hydrogel, hydroton. But a further media can adjust the local circumstances. Next, what is a media? Media is a substance or material in which something exists or grows from the soil and other material for plant growth. Here's some characteristic of growing media. The first is the medium must be able to store water content so that plants get enough nutrient from the water content stored in the media. And also the medium has a low structure profile and can absorb water well, and also has a low salt content. Not easy to change shape, or it is not easy to become dry when the temperature in the room changes. And the important thing is does not have pests or disease that can interfere with plant growth. After we prepare the growing media, then we prepare the seeds. There are a lot of seeds like lettuce, tomato, chili, potato, squash, and etc. Here's some characteristic of quality seeds. The first is we have to know what variety, certified or labeled from the seed we are going to plant. Also, we have to know the purity level of the seeds reach 98%, and preferably the seeds growth power or germination above 80%. And the seed must be clean and uniform. Also, the seed have yield potential high. The seed is healthy, means are free from fungal infection and free from pests. And we have to check the expired date of the seed. Okay, after we decided what seed we have to cultivate, we have to soaking seed on tap water before planting. For breaking dormancy to speed up germination, and for seed sorting. For soft seed like water spinach, lettuce, mustard, we have to soak at least 15 minutes. But for hard seed like chili, pepper, bell, watermelon, melon, we have to soak in 1 hour. In the picture, we can see in the zinc is fiber seed and the float is not fiber seed. We have to throw away the not fiber seed and we plant the fiber seed. This is some example seed germination with rockwool media. Here's some tools we need to germination seed on the rockwool. We need a nursery house, tray, ruler, cutter, toothpick, tissue glass, and tweezer. And also we need a material like rockwool, seeds, abemic nutrition, and water. And this is a step for seedling on the rockwool. First, we do seed treatment. Empty and bad quality of seed will flow and just be thrown away. And then after that, the good seeds are dried on the tissue. And then we cut the rockwool with size up to centimeter on cube size. After we cut the rockwool into pieces, we put the rockwool into the tray and then wet the rockwool with spraying with water using sprayer. Okay, after that, we make a hole in the rockwool with toothpicks or other tool for make it easy to put the seed inside. And then we put the seed inside the rock wool. After that, the seed are stored in the nursery house. After that, then we covered the tray with a plastic to speed up the germination process. After that, after 2 or 3 days, the seed usually germinate. Then the lid is open. After that, the early leaves come out. Fertigation is carried out with a nutritional solution with a dose of 2 up 3 milliliter per liter for maintenance. Okay. This is we have to always maintain the humidity and cleanliness in the nursery house. Here some example for seed germination on husk charcoal. The tools we need is nursery house, seed tray, tissue, glass, and tweezer. Also, we need a material like husk charcoal, seeds, abemic nutrition, and water. The first is we have to prepare the husk charcoal and put in the tray. After that, we fulfill with husk charcoal, then flatten it, watering it evenly so that the media gets wet. And also doing vertical perforation by stacking the seed tray and then pressing it. And we insert the seed into the planting hole using tweezer. After that, we cover the tray with husk charcoal. And then water the seed tray again. Arrange the seed tray in the nursery, then cover them with the sack. And then we open the cover when it has been 7 days or when 2 early leaves appear. After the vegetable seeds grow 2 up to 3 pairs of leaves for leafy vegetables and 4 up to 5 pairs of leaves for fruit vegetables, the seeds are ready to move to the hydroponic installation. And this is the maintenance at the nursery. Stage using husk charcoal carried out using fertilizer as is done in a nursery using rock wool. And we can use a foliar fertilizer at a dose of 5 grams per 10 liter of water or NPK at a dose of 15 grams per 10 liter of water done at the age of the plant 3 up to 4 weeks of the nursery. Okay. This is some example from the question yesterday. If seed can sowing directly in the hydroponic installation, yes, it can. This is some example. This is a picture of planting seed on a gutter. And this is a planting seed on wick system. And also this is sowing seeds or planting seed on water culture system or raft. We have to prepare a container filled with nutrient solution and then cover it with styrofoam board and put rock wool in the planting hole, let it get wet. And after that, put the seeds into rock wool and we just wait until the plant ready to harvest, not have to transplant. Okay, after sowing the seed, we move to the planting. Planting is the activity of transferring seeds from the nursery to the planting area to obtain product from cultivated plants. Here, the first thing to do is seed selection for transplanting. We have to choose good quality seeds are essential so they are easier to maintain and produce optimal yield. The best seeds are those that look vigorous, fresh, and physically good. The age is sufficient, like such as lettuce and pak choy seed have been sowing for 14 up to 20 days, while chilies and tomato have been sown for 21 up to 30 days. Here's some example for planting lettuce. The tools and material we need to planting lettuce is a rockwool, 2 up 3 years old lettuce, a net pot and flannel pot, and also for lettuce is fit to NFT installation. The first, we prepare the net pot and put the rockwool inside and put the seed in the rockwool inside and then put the plants have been wrapped with rockwool into the net pot on NFT system. And then planting tomato. This is some tool and material for planting tomato. We need a plant, polybag, and house charcoal. We choose a drip irrigation system for planting the tomato. This is a picture when planting tomato. Put the roasted husk in the polybag up to 3/4 of the height of the polybag. Put the plant seed in a polybag right in the middle until it is close to the base of the stem, and then insert the drip irrigation pails into the husk. Okay, and then after we sowing the seed, planting, and then the last is maintenance. Maintenance is the treatment of the plants and their environment so that the plants grow healthy and normal. What we do when maintenance, the first is to control the pH and nutrition. Check your pH level at least every other day to maintain proper growing environment for your plant. And watch plants for changes. If leaves turn yellow, you can adjust or increase fertilizer. The tool we need to control the pH and nutrition is pH meter. We call it pH meter. Is to measure the pH or acidity level in the water both before and after adding nutrient so that plants can grow more optimally. And also we need TDS meter, is to measure the total solid or particle dissolved in water, usually at ppm. And EC meter is to measure the concentration of the hydroponic nutrient solution in microsiemens up to centimeter. Okay. Here's some the table about the concentration of the nutrient solution the plant needs as a guidance. In the table is right each ST, means day after plant. I'm sorry, not translate yet. In early planting, we need a 200 up to 400 ppm or equal with 1.2 in EC. On 14 day after plant, we need 600 up to 800 ppm or equal with 1.5 up to 2 in EC. And for 30-day after plant, we need 800 up to 1,000 ppm, or equal to 2 up to 2.5 in EC. And for the generative stage, we need a 12,000 ppm equal with 2.5 up 3 in EC. And for the acidity of the nutrient solution is then 5.8 up to 6.5. Okay. Here's some recommendation table from pH and nutrition concentration in hydroponic for leafy vegetables. And also this, the same for leafy vegetable. And this is the table for fruit vegetable. This is only a recommendation or a guidance. And also there is a pH and ppm for tubers and for fruit plant. Also we have a table pH and ppm value for ornamental plants. Same for ornamental plants. And also we have for herbal plants. After we check the pH and nutrition, we have to check the light. You have to monitor the light for your plant in hydroponic. If it excess sunlight, you have to installing a paranet or shade net, because it will cause wilting of plants and bitter taste of vegetable. But if a lack of sunlight, move it into a place that has sufficient light. Also, we can installing additional LED light will result in a waste of electricity, because it can cause plants to wilt, etiolate, and grow less than optimal. And also we have to check the temperature and humidity in the greenhouse. For example, for the temperature, we can use a fan to control the temperature in the greenhouse, or you can place the tank of nutrient in a shady place to control the temperature in the nutrient tank. Also for humidity, in the high humidity, the absorption nutrient will reduce. And also if the humidity is low, the plant will be wilting. And the solution is to install paranet and the sprinkle in the greenhouse. This is some picture to maintain temperature and humidity install. You have to install the blower in the greenhouse. After check the temperature and humidity, don't forget to always check the installation. You should check the cleanliness of the installation. Clean minimums, and also you should make a schedule to washing the installation, especially after harvest time. And make sure there is no leakage on your installation. If there is in case of leakage, you should apply adhesive or parallel glue. This is a picture. Someone clean the tank at least once every 3 weeks to keep algae growth to a minimum. And then the important thing is to control the pests and disease on your hydroponic plants. As an alternative, you can use organic pesticide that around you. As example, in Indonesia, we can usually use extract of neem leaves, soursop leaves, garlic, and etc. And also you can use traps, or we usually call yellow traps. You can make it yourself by paint the bottle with light color or yellow and smear the board with blue, or we call it blue mon, some insect glue. This is a picture when identify pests and disease periodically. If we find a caterpillar, we just destroy it immediately. But if the attack is already a lot, we can use organic pesticide first. But if the attack can be controlled, we can use chemical pesticide. Chemical pesticide is the last option. And then after that, the last is harvest. Harvesting is done after the plants enter the harvest time or meet the harvest criteria. Harvest time and criteria for each commodity are different. Here's some hydroponic plant harvest timetable for some leafy plant and fruit plant. Okay, harvesting, we have to pay attention to a harvest time. Take a note when you have to harvest the plant because each plant has a different harvest period. And do the harvest when the weather is not too hot. Because generally in the afternoon in order to reduce the risk of wilting and damage to plant. This is a two-way for harvest the leafy vegetable. The first is harvest with roots and harvest without roots. The two-way, there is advantages and disadvantages. For harvest with roots, the advantages is can make the condition of vegetables stay fresh and last longer shelf life, and also to ensure plant certainty from hydroponics cultivate. But there is this advantage. It is necessary to reseed immediately. The harvest will take longer. And for the harvest without roots, the advantages is save on crop usage and can harvest faster. And this advantages is vegetable storage cannot last long, except the vegetable storage in the refrigerator. And here is about a potato nursery. According to the question yesterday, cutting the seeds. Okay. The first, before we do potato nursery, we need tools like GFT installation, the tools of EC or TDS meter, pH meter. We need a tray, tweezer, hand sprayer, and also a bucket. And also we need a material. This is in the picture is a potato plantlet. This potato plantlet is the age is 2 months, and then we can seedling under aeroponic. We need also Ebinix nutrition. Also we need harsh charcoal and alcohol. Also insecticide, detergent, Clorox, and water. The first thing to do, we need to sterilize the greenhouse and DFT installation before we seedling potato plantlet. In the picture, we can see the sterilize of greenhouse and DFT installation. After that, we prepare the growing media, is hard charcoal, and put in the tray. After that, we open the bottle of plantlet potato and remove the plantlet. And then clean the plantlet on tap water. We should clean all of the media or agar media on the plantlet. And then we cut the plantlet. After that, we plant it into the growing media and then place the tray in the GFT. For the maintenance, we use the Abemic solution, and we should check this solution. And in 15 up to 20 days, it's ready for cuttings. This is the first cutting. The first is we have to sterilize the greenhouse, the FG and the tray. And then we have to cut the seedling from plantlet. Don't forget to dip into root hormone and plant into seedling tray contain media and maintain the first cutting as in the nursery. After that, we move to second cutting. Also the same, we have to sterilize the greenhouse, GFG and the tray, and cut the seedling from plantlet. Don't forget to dip into root hormone, plant into seedling tank, contain media, and maintain the second cutting as in the nursery. And the last is third cutting. After we sterilize the greenhouse, GFG and tray, cut the seedling from plantlet, also dip into root hormone, plant into seedling tray contain media, and maintain the third cutting as in the nursery. After the plant age is 21st day after plant, or it already have 5 up to 7 leaves, the plant was able to move into aeroponic container. Here picture after 21 day plantlet, remove the plant from the tray. It was clean on tap water, the root from harsh charcoal. After that, dip into fungicide and then put into styrofoam using a rock wool or foam. And then plant into the aeroponic container, as we can see in the picture. After that, we have to maintain, always check the installation condition periodically. If there is leakage or there is stuck on the installation. And also carry out pest and disease control by spraying insecticide if needed, depend on the plant's condition. This is a picture of potato tubers are ready to be harvested after 75 up to 90 days after planting and ready to be used as geno seeds or mini tubers, like Ms. Pia said yesterday, after storage and further treatment. Here, this is the stage in the potato seed class. In Indonesia, Gino is mini tuber. We call it breeder seed. G1 is foundation seeds. G2 foundation seed 2, and G3 is stock seed. G4 is extension seed, and then we consumption the potato. Gino or mini tuber growing in aeroponic system. G1 we can growing in drip irrigation system. G2 up to G4 can growing in the open area. But there is a new regulation of Ministry of Agriculture. Now G3 has been consumed on people right now. Maybe that's all about seedling planting and maintenance. And for clearly, we can see the video. Thank you, Ms. Niken.
Thank you, Mrs. Sani. I'm sorry, Mrs. Sani, are you going to play the video right now, or the participant can direct to the e-learning?
Oh, okay. Maybe according to time, maybe let's discuss first
before the period. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Sani, for an excellent presentation and very extensive hydroponic practice explanation step by step. So participants, we are now opening the discussion and it will remain open until 5 p.m. Jakarta time zone. It means that we still have quite a long time, actually 55 minutes for the discussion. Let us begin with first question from Ms. Noros Seheno from Madagascar. She's asking two questions, actually, Mrs. Sani. Why should we clip the plantlet before planting potato? And how much cuttings can we obtain for the second and third cuttings?
Should we cut? Tambah tinggi kan?
Okay, for the planting, why we cut the plantlet, according to Miss Sani, she said that why we need to cut the planting because we want it will be the same as the mother plant from the plantlet because the plantlet is free from virus. So to maintain that and have the same genetic characteristic from its mother plants. Also, that's why we can cut it from the plantlet, and we can using this cutting we can get so many new plants for the first cutting, and after that we can cut again to get more plant of potato plants. And it's still free from virus. We have to make sure that the tools also sterile to get the free disease plants. So it's much easier if we cut it from the plantlet. And we have to remember it's still small and still juvenile. It's still a little bit meristematic. So it's much easier to produce the roots and become the full plants using this cutting.
Why we must be cutting? Because for adaptation from the in vitro to in vivo, and other reason for economic.
Yeah, economical reasons, sir.
Okay, economic reason. Okay.
So from
maybe
this one,
I can.
Yopi, can you pin this one?
I can show you
This is the plantlet.
plantlet from potato in vitro, like Mr. Abdurrahim said, and we have to move to in vivo and need time to adapt to the new environment. Maybe that's all, Miss Niken.
From this one,
Yeah.
what's the price? Harganya? 30.
27.
Maybe about $2.
Yeah.
$2.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes,
$2.
$2.
One
Yeah.
bottle, $2.
And from this you can get so many cuttings.
Yeah.
And you will get more seed of potatoes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Yopi.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. The team lecturers for the explanation. So we know that the role of cuttings for the cost effectiveness and for sterilization. Another question from Miss Harena from Madagascar. She's asking how can we use a hydroponic system to produce beans? I think this question may be addressed to Mr. Abdurrahim, or maybe Mr. Abdurrahim, can you explain about this?
Maybe I can add two question from Miss Harena. I think beans can grow in hydroponic system. I think in drip irrigation, in my opinion.
Yes, using a substrate.
Using a substrate.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Drip irrigation. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, drip irrigation using a substrate, and you can use a stalk.
Okay, you can
Yeah,
use
stop.
soil media
Yeah.
or
Has charcoal.
cut hush charcoal.
Yeah, but we need to consider the economic reason also.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much, Mrs. Sani and Mr. Abdurrahim. Next question, it is still related with the previous question, but more general, since you already reaffirmed that, confirmed that pin is appropriate using the drip irrigation. How about for fruit and vegetables? This question came from one participant from Nigeria. Is there a specific hydroponic system that is best suited to fruit and vegetables, or will any system will be okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
I think I suggest you all about which one you choose. You must choose hydroponic system for vegetable. I think I suggest DFT system, NFT system, or NWIC system for economic reason, and which one you choose for fruit plant. I think you must be choose drip irrigation system. Fruit.
Yes.
Okay, fruit. Yes.
Yes.
That's
So a little bit adding additional information to choosing which kinds of installations or the system that you want to apply for your fruit. You need to consider that the installation have enough strength to support your plants.
Yes.
We can imagine that for the system that Mr. Abdurrahim said, DFT, NFT, vegetable will be great in that system. But can you imagine if this kind of system supporting plants such as a melon?
Yes.
It will be very difficult.
Yes.
Even you can do that, you need more effort to do that.
Yes.
So for this type of plants, such fruit, we need to choose the substrate system. I think is one of the best option is the substrate system because it's able to support your plants and also the fruit weight.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdurrahim and Mrs. Fia, for the extensive explanation. Since Mr. Abdurrahim previously mentioned about husk charcoal, Mr. Protais from Burundi was asking why must husk charcoal be used?
Okay. Maybe I can answer the question for Mr. from Burundi. Yeah. Okay. The first why we use husk charcoal is to maintain the soil condition because it has high porosity and is light. And also we can stimulate the growth of microorganisms that are useful for plants. And also we can regulate soil pH or acidity under certain conditions. Also, it can retain moisture, fertilize soil and plants, and increase crop production as an absorbent to reduce the number of pathogenic microbes. Okay, maybe
my additional information is just like Ms. Sani said, she already explained a lot about rice husk charcoal. My additional information is in Indonesia, rice husk charcoal is easily to get at and the cost is really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So in Indonesia, mostly the hydroponics grower, especially for the substrate, we use the rice husk charcoal. And the next option is maybe cocoa pit because it's much easy. It's easier to get in here. But in your place, if you don't have the rice husk charcoal, maybe you can choose any others of substrate that easy and affordable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sunny and Mrs. Fia. We learned that the advantage of using hot charcoal in hydroponic system. Next question, a question from Mr. Philbert from Rwanda. I think this one addressed to Mrs. Sunny. When is the time to fully clean out hydroponic system?
As like my slide, we have to clean all the tank when after we harvest all the plants. Maybe we should clean after the harvest. Yeah. Sterilize and then sterilize it. Maybe Ms. Pia and
Yeah. So after we harvest all the plants, maybe in one cycle, after we finish it and we harvest the plants, we can sterilize and clean it all of the system.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sunny and Mrs. Fia. Next question from Mr. Amos from Kenya. He's asking, yes, it's when using chemical sprays for crops produced under hydroponics. Yeah, that's why I will try to type his question over here because it is. Yes.
Where you use, it means you should have very long.
Oh, okay. Yes. So, okay, I get it. It means that, the residue of this
Vegetable.
pesticide.
Pesticide,
Okay.
pesticide.
Long interval period. Yes. I think it's almost the same for every plant, but that's why in hydroponics, for the high value of vegetables and plants, we suggest you to put your hydroponic system inside the greenhouse to prevent in the using of pesticide too often. Yeah, but yes, it depends on the type of the pesticides and also the residue in your vegetables. Sometimes we use also the pesticide for the vegetables in hydroponics. But we have to keep in mind that we use the safe dose for the pesticide. Maybe you have any additional information from Isani or Abdurrahim?
Enough. Okay, that's enough, Miss Niken.
Okay, thank you very much, team lecturer. Next question from Miss Norosehena from Madagascar. She's asking how to clean the system for drip irrigation. Yeah.
I want to try to answer the question. Okay. As you can see in my slide, you can see at the end of the installation, you can install a ball valve. You can create ball valve in the end installation to open and close the installation. After that, you can use high pressure pump. Okay. How to clean the drip irrigation system installation? I think you can use high pressure from the pump, and in the end of the installation, you put a ball valve. You can open and you turn on the pump with high pressure. I think that, Ms. Niken.
Okay, there's one additional. Do no need any product
Oh ya boleh.
So I think there is another question from Mr. Noroseheno. Do no need any product? I mean, still related with how we clean the drip irrigations. Yeah, the information from Mr. Abdul Rahim, yes, we can put any product of it's kind of like disinfectant.
Yes.
We can put it in the tanks and use the high pressure
Yes.
to clean the hose.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think for the regular also, when it's still on the drip, we can pull off
Open,
the
yeah.
hose.
Yes.
Yes, and put it back. I think we have some of the practice on the videos.
Okay.
You can check in the LMS. Or
You
maybe
can
we
open
have
stick
time.
regulator.
Yes, open the stick regulator to clean it up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul Rahim and Mrs. Fia. Next question. Well, I think this one addressed to Mrs. Fia. Yesterday, you explained about the possibility of doing establishing a hydroponic system outdoor, but maybe you can explain more detail. He's asking, the material of the greenhouse are extremely expensive. May hydroponic systems be put indoor or even outside?
Okay, the greenhouse material, yes. Actually, it depends on the material that we're going to use to build the greenhouse. Of course, we have not a greenhouse, but screenhouse from the bamboo. It was cheaper. And we also have from the light steel. And the more expensive is the galvanized hot dip, is the galvanized steel. Of course, it's quite costly, even in here, but if you want to choose the affordable ones, you can use the bamboo to protect your plants and your hydroponic installation system.
With wood.
Yeah, or maybe using a wood. Yes, you can do that. And hydroponic system can be installed indoor house or even outdoors. Yes. Once again, it depends on you. You need to consider the pest and the disease control.
Yes.
In the outdoors, going to be more difficult, and it's much easier if you have it inside the greenhouse or indoors. You know, in Indonesia, there is a very sophisticated indoor farming in Serpong, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They use a vertical hydroponic, verticulture hydroponic inside the building, and they're using indoors farming, and it's really sophisticated, and of course it's really costly. So it really depends on you which one is for the best for you and you can afford it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Fia, for the explanation. Well, so I'm actually wondering, Mrs. Fia, how long is the durability for the greenhouse and for the bamboo if you are using the bamboo, the durability?
For the bamboo, actually, yeah, maybe 2 or 3 cycles, maybe about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
With okay, it also depends on the bamboo material also. Some of the bamboo are easily to get rooteds, and we have one of this greenhouse in here that using a bamboo, and it's already broke right now. It was built maybe several years ago, and we cannot use it again. It's much better. It's more durable if you use the light steel and a certain type of wood. And it's much better again. It's more durable if you use the galvanized hot dip. I think it's maybe more than 10 to 20 years. It's going to be better. So of course the affordable one, the cheaper one, just like a bamboo, the durations of this greenhouse is not that long. We need to change that regularly.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Pia. Next question. Well, I think this one addressed to Mrs. Pia again from Miss Sukai from Gambia. Yes, she's asking, can you focus on 100% organic, or is it only inorganic nutrient solutions utilized in hydroponic plants?
Okay, thank you very much. In here, and I personally, in the hydroponics, I will more focus on inorganics. I will more focus on inorganic. I mean, not inorganic, I mean inorganic. The synthetic one, not the organic one, the synthetic one. Why? Because the first one, there is an advantageous and disadvantages between organic and the synthetic nutrient in hydroponics. In hydroponics, you know that we have to construct the installation. From the economic reason, it's costly. And for that, we need to produce the high quality yield, of course, in the vegetables. And to control that, to produce the high quality of the vegetables, we need to address the exact nutrient solution based on the plant's need. And it's much better, and we can calculate it well if we use the synthetic one, the inorganic nutrient solution rather than the organic. And besides that, using the synthetic nutrients in hydroponic, well, there's a lot of research, and we can see the results of the vegetables. The synthetic ones mostly are better performance and also have more nutrients balance. So it's more nutritious rather than the organic, because we cannot sure really well, we cannot make sure how many kinds of elements in the organic one or how many ppm in the organic one. We cannot make sure that, because it always differs based on the material that you use to make this organic. So for hydroponic, for me, I suggest we are more focused on in the synthetic one, but organic is always become an alternative in the case we don't have, or it's really difficult for us to get the synthetic one. So if you want to apply the hydroponics in your area and it's really difficult to find the synthetic one, organic, it's always become an alternative to do hydroponics. Thank you, Ms. Nikan.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Pia. There is another question. I think this one still related to one that you just answered from one participant from Burundi. Is biohydroponic without chemicals possible?
Okay, it is possible to produce bio without chemical products in hydroponics. Well, yes, it's always become an alternative. But I have to remind you that the result maybe is not as good as the synthetic one. So we can always try. Sometimes the students here, they try to use the liquid organic fertilizer, such as from the urine of the rabbits or from the cow, and they make a liquid fertilizer and they use it in a solution. The solutions, they dilute that and they put a plants, just like a hydroponics, but using the organic nutrient solutions. But yeah, once again, it's difficult to get the yield as good as the synthetic nutrients.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Pia, for the explanation. Next question. I think maybe this one is addressed to Mrs. Sani from Mr. Filbert from Rwanda. He is asking, how many filtering processes in hydroponic should you advise? Which one is sufficient in filtering? Sea stones, gravel, mattress, carbon stones, or charcoal?
system. I think in filtration we can use charcoal, in my opinion, and maybe Miss Pia and Mr. Abraham can add some more.
Yeah, for in this case, I don't know, the filtrations process, it means you means for the nutrient solutions, for example, like aquaponics.
Or
If that was the case, well, we usually actually it's much better if we have two filtrations in aquaponics. Yeah, in aquaponics there is a coarse filtrations and the soft one. So there is two filtrations, and after that to enter the bio balls, it means to filter the faces of the fish, and then it's put in the bacteria house, and they're going to be put in on the plants. But in hydroponics, filtering is also important in the case to filter the dirt and the debris of the nutrient solutions. Mr. Abdurrahim, I think yesterday he showed us the filtrations, the hose before to enter the hose.
Yeah.
How many times? I think it's only one, yeah.
Only.
Yes, only once. Because the nutrient solution is already clean, but we need to still to have one filter before it enter the hose to prevent the clogging.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Fia, for the response. Next question. Maybe this one is addressed to Mr. Abdurrahim. Can the hydroponic system be used for cut flowers or some perennial plants?
Yes, of course. I think I suggest you you can use an FT or the FT system to for flower plant or edible flower.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
But we need to consider the weight of the plant also.
Yeah.
Yes.
The weight and the height of the plants. For example, if we use the chrysanthemum for the cutting flowers, it's really high.
Okay.
It's much better using
Drip system.
irrigation.
Okay, drip irrigation system. If you plant if you cultivate high plant flower, I mean flower high grow. I think I suggest you you use a drip irrigation system. That's
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdurrahim, for the extensive explanation. Next question from Miss Harena. Yeah, Miss Harena. Maybe this one is addressed to Mrs. Fia. High EC of water. What should we do in this case?
Okay, thank you. For the high electrical conductivity of the water source, I mean the raw water, we can do the filtrations. And most of the high scale hydroponic grower, they have their own reserve osmosis pump. So they will filter the raw water and to remove the ions and debris and everything before they use to enter the circulations for the hydroponics nutrient solutions. So it's much better if you have the reserve osmosis pump. But in case we don't have this type of pump, yes, we can use the filtrations and purify the water using the physical filters, just like one of the participants mentioned before, just like a gravel, sea stones mattress, and everything to reduce the electrical conductivity on the raw water before we use it as the source of nutrient solutions.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Fia. The next question, this one is for Mr. Abdurrahim. For the drip irrigation, how do we define the distances between the lines of hoses?
Perbedaan lines of hoses dan selama ya.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Niken. I think it's depend on how many pressure of pump. If you use high pressure of pump, I think you can use PE or RO hose, RO hose, because the pipe PVC is, I think is
Fragile.
strong. Okay. I think if you use high pressure for PVC pipe, I think it's not safety.
Not safe.
Okay, not safe. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul Rahim. Next question to Mrs. Sani. Yeah, thank you very much. So for this, for the cut flowers, how about cleaning the system? Can it be done even when the crop is still in? I think you are still muted, Mrs. Sani.
Okay, sorry. Thank you for the question. In my opinion, we should clean the hydroponic system in cut flowers after we harvest all the flower. I think that's in my opinion. Maybe Miss Fia can add something.
Yes, I agree with you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Sani. So whatever the crop is, the best time to clean is after harvest.
After, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Next question to Mrs. Fia. I think this one came from Mr. Philbert. I think he's very interested in aquaponics. Yes, because he's asking if we filtrate the fish manure before going to our plant. Yeah, it doesn't affect nutrients set from fish manure that can help plants.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Philbert. Yes, it's very interesting questions. So in our mind, in our imaginations, in our mind,
Yes.
the faces from the fish is going to be very beneficial for the plants. Exactly, but not in the forming of the faces.
Yes.
So that's why we need the filter. So that's why we need the bacteria to decompose the fish faces. So it's become an ionic nutrient.
Yes.
So it can be absorbed by the fish. So why we need to filter before it's entered the bacteria house? It's because I will share to you the pictures of the bio ball. Okay. Yeah. This one. One thing will be happen if we are not filter the dirt on the faces of the fish before it's enter the bacteria house or the reactor of the bacteria. It's going to, oh, sorry, wait, it's missing. Okay, it's going to affect the bacteria activity. So in here, I have a difficulty in share screen, sorry. Maybe not this. Okay. I'm sorry, actually I want to show you what happened if we're not filter it well. Okay, this one. This is what happened if we're not filtering the faces. This one. the bio bowl will be full with the dirt and the fish faces, and the bacteria is not able to decompose the ammonia and the nitrates from the fish. So that's why we need to filter the dirt. It's much better if you have two types of filter, the coarse one, and the soft one. You can use a gravel, stone, and everything before it's entered the bio bowl. If it's what this is in the case, this is what we have here. This is our experience in our aquaponics. When we only apply one filter, the coarse one, the faces from the fish will not filter well in the first filter, and they're going to enter the bio bowl bacteria house, and they will stick on the bio bowl, and the bacteria is difficult to grow and decompose the faces of the fish. So the electrical conductivity after from this bacteria house is not really high. So that's why we need to filter the faces first. Of course, in the first or the second filtration, there will be a decomposition process also, but it's not as good as in the bacteria house. So what's going to absorb by the plant is not the physical form of the fish faces, but it's already decomposed to become an ionic, and it's going to increase the electrical conductivity of the water. So it's going to be different. On the fish tank, maybe the EC is around 800 or 700 ppm. But after we enter the filtering and the bacteria house, you can check the EC after that is going to be increased. Little bit, it depends on the activity of the bacteria. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Fia. So it means that we need to filter. It is very important to filter the fish faces first in aquaponic practice. Since we are mentioning about aquaponic, actually, Mr. Philbert previously asked question during your Q&A session. Maybe I can read it out right now. He was asking if we add nutrients in our plants in aquaponic setting, it does not affect the fish.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, actually, for the certain dose, it was not really affect the plants. We have tried that in the aquaponic system without a filter. So we add a bit organic nutrients on the plants. It's not so many, it's just small amounts of that. So it's enough for the plant to grow. And remember, we use a substrate, the water flowing through the substrate and fall back into the fish tank is already filtered by the substrate and the absorption process from the plant. Even we already put an inorganic fertilizer. Sometimes we put an NPK actually. So for the certain dose, yes, it's not really affect the fish. But if you want to try the extreme dose, yeah, I think it's going to evac. And if you want to try that, I think you need more filter. You need to filter the water from the plants before it enter the fish tank.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Fia, for the explanation. Well, for participants, we still have 16 minutes for the Q&A. Please address your questions. Or maybe
we can play videos.
Maybe we can play video, Mrs.
Video?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
okay. We can play
We can
video.
play a video about maintenance in the hydroponics. Stereopy.
Seedling potato,
Okay.
seedling potato.
nursery, planting, and maintenance on aeroponic system. Hydroponic nursery using charcoal media for potato. Tools and material. Husk charcoal, seed tray. Root stimulant, alcohol 70%, razor blade, and stick. Fulfill the tray with husk charcoal. Flatten it. Watering it evenly, so that the media gets wet. Cut the plant from the top nodes, 3 leaves, with the stem length below the book bottom leaf, 3-5 centimeters. Use a sharp razor that has been sterilized with 70% alcohol. Make holes with sticks for easy planting. Soak the planting material, seed cuttings, with a root stimulant before planting.
Plant the seed cutting into the planting media that has been previously. Don't forget to do maintenance during the nursery process, such as control pests and disease. Check plant after spraying insecticide. Age 14 to 21 plants are to be used as a source of planting bodies, seeds, that are ready to be planted with the aeroponics system. Aeroponic planting system. Tools and materials. Plant, rockwool, aeroponics and installation. Keep it in nursery greenhouse room. Prepare the plant seeds, clean it with water. Tuck them into the rockwool pieces, insert them into the holes in the cover of the aeroponic tub, turn on the aeroponic installation. This is how the plants look after 1 month. Maintenance stage for aeroponic system.
Check temperature, humidity, and sunlight intensity. To maintain temperature and humidity, install the blower in the greenhouse. Identify pests and diseases periodically.
Carry out pest and disease control by spraying insecticides if needed, depend on the plant's condition. Check the installation condition periodically. Potato tubers are ready to be harvested after 75-90 days after planting, and ready to be used as G0 seeds after storage and further treatment.
Okay, Mrs. Sunny, do you still have another video to play?
No, I think that's enough, Miss Niken.
Yeah, another video, maybe you can check it on the LMS.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. It is very interesting video and with technical details on the aeroponics and other hydroponic system. Maybe since it is nine minutes left before we close this session, perhaps we will open to two questions. For the first question, this one came from one participant from Madagascar. Instead of rock wool in aeroponic, can we use sponge?
Thank you. I think we can replace rock wool with sponge for the aeroponic. You can adjust on your country. There is a rock wool or sponge. You can use two of the media, rock wool or sponge for aeroponic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sunny. So whether the participant is using rock wool or sponge, both will give positive effect to the plantation, similar effect. Okay, thank you very much. Next question is from Miss Harena. How about the root hormone?
Okay. Yeah, thank you for the question. Root hormone is we use to stimulate the root from the mother stalk, from the cuttings of potato plant.
Yeah, so yes, we use the root hormone.
Yeah,
especially for the cutting potatoes, plantlets. We use that
for stimulate the root.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, maybe last question, since we still have 7 minutes, from Mr. Philbert from Rwanda. He's asking, to the movie, the fact that potatoes are physically produced in aeroponics can be quite interesting. So the chop stalks here, when not in aeroponic, grow roots if they are in carbon. So here the cut stems grow roots when they are in charcoal, not in aeroponic.
Yes, that in NFT system.
Yes, exactly. So
Yes.
the cuttings will grow the roots in the horizontal charcoal in the NFT system.
But I think in aeroponic is just to grow the tuber or seed, mini tuber.
Yeah, aeroponics to produce the mini tuber.
Aeroponic to produce mini tuber. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, team lecturer. So, well, maybe since there is no further question, perhaps we can conclude this session. So, I would like to invite Mrs. Sunny to provide a final comments before we finish this session on seedling, planting, and maintenance, please.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Niken. I think with learning this seedling, planting, and maintenance, I hope we can learning to get your seed starter system is not as complicated as learning to create an entire hydroponic system. All you need is some gentle care and attention. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope this presentation be beneficial for all of us. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Sani, and of course to Mrs. Fia and Mr. Abdul Rahim for imparting your knowledge regarding hydroponics. And I wish the ICAT much success for the future endeavor. And for Mrs. Sani, we would of course be pleased if you could share your contact details on the chat section for further discussions with the participants through email or other communication channel. So, distinguished lecturers, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, our next session is action plan. It is the next step in the e-learning sequence, and the participants must complete this final step, including all of the evaluation, in order to receive the certificate. Mrs. Fia will show you how to fill out the action plan form. Mrs. Fia, are you ready to present now?
Okay.
Yes.
Not skim.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Not skim.
Oh,
Not skim.
okay. You want to play the game? Okay, thank you, Ms. Nikan. Okay, for these sessions, I'm going to share to you in how we fill the action plans. So in this training sequence, we have an action plans to complete the training sequence and the steps. I will try to enter from the sequence. Okay, I will try to enter the LMS system. Okay, I will share screen. Okay. This one is the LMS system. So to fill the action plan, you can go scroll down into the last part. Oh, before the process, we have the action planning here, and you can download the form in here. You can download it here, and you can fill it, your action plans after these training sessions. Okay, let me open the form. So you can fill the actions plan with an activities that you will do after this training program. For example, if you want to disseminate the materials that you get from these training sessions, and after that, maybe you want to try to build your own hydroponic system or aquaponics. So you can write down your action plan in this form. In this, you can write down your name and address and your contact details, and you can write down your type of activity, the activity times, the locations of the activities, the person in charge and the executor of the activities, and you can put a note in your activity. After you fill this action plan, you may upload it back into the LMS platform. In here, just right under the form of the action plans, right here. You can upload it here, and we're going to provide you with the feedback through the LMS platform. So this is how you can complete the action plan for this training sequence. Thank you, Ms. Niken.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Via, for the explanation and for the comprehensive briefing. So as Mrs. Via has said, you can start completing the action plan after this Zoom meeting is closed, and the deadline to fill out the action plan post-test and evaluation is until 29th of September 2021 at 4:30 p.m. Jakarta time zone. And as the committee, we recommend you to start completing everything after the today's session is closed. Finally, the final agenda of our primary activity has been attained. Thank you for remaining with us for the past 3 working days. We are now heading for the closing session, and I would like to invite Ms. Channing from the NAM Center to lead us at the session. You have the floor, Ms. Channing.
Thank you so much, Ms. Niken. Honorable representative of the ICAT, distinguished lectors, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for remaining for the closing ceremony of the online training course on hydroponics for African countries, organized by the Non-Alignment Movement Center for South-South Technical Cooperation, NAMCSSTC, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, in cooperation with Ministry of Agriculture of the Republic of Indonesia. Now, we're headed for the last agenda. First of all, I want to read a testimony that sent through chat section by Mr. Amos from Kenya. Mr. Amos said that he kindly appreciates the training and he also thanks the Republic of Indonesia, all the trainers, facilitators, and the participants. The training offers lessons to disseminate the hydroponic technologies in participants' countries. We kindly thank the testimony from Mr. Amos. Furthermore, I would like to invite one of the participants from Nigeria to give his testimony about the training. Mr. Lukman from Miss Nigeria, you may have the floor.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It's morning here. I believe it should be afternoon there. Good afternoon to all of you over there and across the world and across Africa. I greet you all. Indeed, I really benefited from the training. It was an amazing training indeed. And I would like to use this opportunity to thank the Indonesian government and the minister and everybody involved. May Allah reward you, and this is indeed very beneficial. I also want to call on fellow participants that there is no success except if we actually implement what we have learned. So implementation is key to absolutely whatever it is that we have learned during the course of the training. And I can see also that the participants are not more than 40 throughout the sessions. I would love to seek that the institutes engage more participants, especially from African countries, so that they can also benefit. Especially it will go a long way in helping us to maximize production in the agricultural sector. And I want to say thank you very much, and we all appreciate it. It was a very wonderful training, and it was very beneficial and in fact highly impactful. So thank you very much, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lukman, for your amicable testimony, and we really appreciate your enthusiasm during the training. It was a delight for the organizer to have the training be attended by amazing participants from African countries. Next, I would like to give the honor to Mrs. Siti Karimatun from ICAT to deliver her farewell words to participants. You may have the floor, Mrs. Siti.
Thank you, Ms. Channing. Honorable representative of Non-Aligned Movement Center for South-South Technical Cooperation, Honorable representative of Directorate of Technical Cooperation, Ministry of State Secretariat, honorable resource speakers, Indonesian Center for Agricultural Training Lembang, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to all of you. First of all, let us praise to God Almighty so that we can gather virtually for the closing ceremony of the online training course on hydroponics for African countries. We are happy that all the participants have successfully completed the online training. However, improvement and dissemination to your farmers and your country after post-training will make us happy. I would like to extend my appreciation and gratitude on behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture Republic of Indonesia to NAM Center for maintaining a close cooperation in organizing this training program. On behalf of Indonesian Agency for Agricultural Extension and Human Resource Development, I'd also like to deliver my sincere gratitude to Indonesian Center for Agriculture Training Lembang for hosting this training and providing great assistance to all participants. To all resource persons and all participants, I'm so glad that you could give and share experiences to this training program. Once again, thank you and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mrs. Siti, thank you so much for your warm remarks. We welcome the strong ICAT cooperation in organizing agriculture training and trust Indonesia's commitment to improving South-South cooperation with the African countries. We appreciate this strong collaboration. Distinguished participant, the last day of the course is close to completion. I would like to remind participants before we finish this session that you still need to do post-test, action plan, and evaluation on the e-learning website. Please direct to and complete the e-learning website as it will be closed tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. time zone of Jakarta. Finally, I want to thank participants personally for taking part in this training. I hope this training enhances our knowledge for all of us and can be useful also applied in your respective countries. I should therefore announce the training is closed. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. See you at the upcoming event. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ms. Janing. Thank you, all participants. Rohim, Mbak Yanisa, Mbak Sani.
Terima kasih, Bu.
Thank you.
Mbak
Sukses.
Cinta mana Mbak Cinta?
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Izin live.
Enggak, Ibu.